Hello. I'm Celeste Martin from Emily Carr University, and I'll be presenting an applied research project we did with Loudcrow Interactive that follows the model of industry and partner collaboration and was funded by Canada's Natural Sciences and Engineering Research Council. This kind of funding allows us to develop very quick but intense projects that helps us connect with industry to create, improve, or expand commercial products while at the same time facilitating training of our students and increasing our research capacity. We partner with Loudcrow Interactive. They are an agency founded in 2010. They became very quickly leading in high-quality interactive children's contents for mobile platforms. Their original app was the Tales of Peter Rabbit pop-up book, which in 2010 was quite important. And they use, the engine they use is the Verso Story engine, which is a 2D physics engine that allows readers to interact and manipulate content on the screens of mobile devices with incredibly realistic physical effects. They use, or their framework uses standard web technologies like Flash and CSS and JavaScript. So for this particular project, our mandates or our goals were, on one hand, to expand the use of their engine into new book genres and audiences, and also explore alternative forms of book navigation structures beyond what they were currently using, which was the metaphor of the page after page navigation. And on a second goal, we were looking at producing, giving them feedback in the form of a usability report for their tool set and workflow, based on the experience of this platform and workflow from communication designers or graphic designers with very low-level development knowledge, which was their audience or is their audience for future commercial deployment. Our project took about 16 weeks in the spring semester. I worked with 4 research assistants, 3 undergraduate and 1 graduate. From the undergraduate assistants, 2 were in their 4th year of study and 1 was in 2nd year. And the students worked constantly in the partner's office, almost exclusively during their first 5 weeks of training. But then, and they worked together with a couple of developers, a project manager, and an art director as well from the Loudcrow team. But a lot of the conversations happened and the feedback on the meetings would happen in meetings we did with all of the groups involved. Yet at the same time, the class or the project was really anchored in a course I was teaching that these students were part of as well, called Enhanced eBook Design in the spring. How we did this, we developed 3 case studies, 3 prototypes to address different issues and to expand the Verso platform in different ways. The first one was the Red Pony, which is it was an adaptation from John Steinbeck's novella of the same name about a boy's adventures in the family farm. This app encourages exploration by allowing open movement within the setting of the Salinas Valley farm. The reader can click on doorways or buildings to move from one scene to the next, each one being depicted as a 360-degree panorama. And the prototype takes inspiration from early 90s role-playing games and their 3D worlds within 2D graphics, and pushes this particular engine from a read-along platform into the genre of role-playing games, focusing on free-roaming interaction and a storyline that is affected by the reader's decision and timing. So depending on whether the main character would take too long or very quickly would get to the farm to the barn to do a particular chore, the response from the grandfather would be different in tone and the dialogue would change. A second proposal was Fish Families, a prototype that explores a nonfiction kind of app that explores the depths of the ocean and the families of marine life that inhabit them. It is a playful book by nature that teaches readers about this marine life and at the same time alternative family structures. The book uses a simulation of a z-axis within this 2D physics engine to provide a form of navigation that literally goes from surface to the depths of the ocean. So you are navigating content going deeper into it. And in the way you interact with sea creatures that at the same time trigger more textual information. This was one particular challenge for this engine, to work with starting to orient the engine towards textbooks and increasing the amount of text they would be dealing with. And the last prototype, Open Closets, is an interactive fashion catalog that draws connections between members of a communal closet through a shared piece of clothing. It's similar to a paper doll game where you would have more than one doll toy and you bring them to the stage. You also add a third piece, which is a piece of clothing, and this will trigger a response in the form, a surprise response in the form of a video or an animation or a photograph. This particular app looks at the potential of Verso as extended to new audiences instead of their 5-year-old audience that they have right now, and also to look at different catalogs or different genres like the catalog for that use principles like play for play's sake in itself, that is not looking for achieving particular goals as a progress, but just as a space for playtime and interaction. In terms of, that was quick. In terms of what I've learned from this project and what I think are guidelines that have made it really successful, not only were we able to give back to this company real great results that they have already incorporated in, for example, their latest app that they published, which was Windy and I, or Windy and Me, in their use of video in that particular application that came from this project. But also how we've managed to incorporate this kind of partner projects throughout different levels at the institution and with our research. So I like this idea of thinking about distributed support. Not all of the conversations were happening about this project at the same level. I had a grad student that I was supervising that year that was also working in the ebook realm that was part of this project. So some of the discussions would happen with him. Some of the discussion would happen with a company in my class, which was a different realm. Some of these projects were also part of students, for example, Open Closets, part of the students' fourth-year projects. They were a component of it. And so then they would be getting more feedback and more discussion of it at a completely different class and level. Another important thing was to keep the research focus in tied to our interests. So for me, this was a way to build capacity. It is related to my particular area of research. And it allowed me to build connections across all of these things, my graduate supervision, my fourth-year students, my second-year students, starting to not to also work with students that are at their sort of peak of capacity, but also start training earlier and younger students. And then I think the last thing that was incredibly rewarding was that to actually work with a partner that was involved with the institution at other many levels. It wasn't that we just gave this partner a solution or we worked on something and we presented. They came to our classrooms, they did critiques, they did presentations, they continue to hire our students and look at Emily Carr for new hires for their studios as well. So I think working in the SIM Center, one of our research centers at Emily Carr, this is one way in which we've been able to create these clusters of industry, university research, and bring together a number of companies and industries in the area that can help us move forward this discipline and this field. And I think that's it. And you can look at video. I didn't think I would have enough time, but you can look at videos of the actual prototypes If you go to my site, it's celestemartin.ca/verso, and you can see there how actually each one of those functions. Thank you.